Right. Hey YouTube, Dale and Tug again here. Wax on, wax off, Pro Auto Detailing here in Hanover, Pennsylvania. And I'm going to talk to you about PPF, which is paint protection film, something that I actually, honestly, don't know much about. As far as I'm concerned, it looks like saran wrap for a car.
It does.
Yeah,
Much thicker.
much thicker,
Yeah,
and
it is actually very similar to that.
we'll keep it fresh for 90 days.
Probably a little longer.
A little longer.
A good
so.
10 years at
So,
least.
Yeah, well, go ahead and tell us about PPF. Apparently there's, from what I've seen, there's different types, different manufacturers, different things
Right.
that it'll do. What is the benefit of PPF, and why would somebody want to put that on their vehicle?
Right. So PPF is it is the most expensive form of protection, and rightfully so. It's an 8mm thick film. So if you think of those, you ever use those contractor garbage bags, real thick black ones? They're 3mm thick. So it's more than double that. So it's very thick,
Give
very
us
flexible.
some comparison as far as how thick your factory clear coat is, how thick a ceramic coating is.
So factory clear coat's about 50 microns, which is about 2mm. So
And that includes clear coat, right?
that is the clear coat.
Okay, that
2
is
mils
the clear coat.
is the
Okay.
clear coat.
Okay.
It's about 5 mils thick, I think, if you tell
From
them everything.
base coat
Base
to-
coat,
okay.
the primer, base coat, and clear coat.
Okay.
It depends on the manufacturer. So you're working with about 2 mils of clear coat, and that's about the thickness of a Post-it note. So clear coat is 2 mils Post-it note. 2 and almost 2.5 contractor bags is PPF. So it's way thicker than everything that's currently on that metal, from the base primer all the way up. So it's designed for high impact damage, rocks and bugs and anything that you're going to encounter, like for people that highway drive that have big broad noses, like a lot of Teslas that have like airplane noses that just take up
Everything hits it, yeah.
And it's such soft, and even if it's coated, it'll reduce some of the stuff, but you're still going to get dents and divots and chips and chunks, and they slowly build up. And a lot of people, they come to me and they're like, I don't follow behind trucks, or I try to avoid them. Well, it's not the big trucks that throw boulders.
Yeah.
It's the little stones inside people's treads that stay in there and then hit about 65 and get launched.
Anybody that rides a motorcycle with an open face helmet knows exactly
It's
what
like a bug
it
dart throat
is. It's
one.
just,
It's rough.
I took, it's especially even in the rain, it's just worse, but yeah.
Right. So PPF is designed to stop that damage. I mean, it really does stop just about everything but a bullet. Most people do the front clip, so full hood, maybe partial fenders, and then bumper and like backs of the mirrors, the high. Some people do the A-pillars that surround the windshield, but I rarely, because they're so thin anymore, I rarely see any damage there. They'll even do the top of the roof, maybe a quarter of the way back. And so front clip, so if you did like a full hood, full fenders and a bumper, you might spend about $2,000.
Why so expensive?
It's very expensive because it's about $20 to $22 a square foot, and it's just mostly because the material is so expensive.
And then the prep work involved, and I've seen you doing a PPF job on a car. It's doesn't look easy.
It's not. The prep work at PPF will cover up some scratches. It really, it's amazing that, now you want to paint correct the paint, but if you have some scratches, it'll actually cover them up, because it's just so thick. It's just the nature of it. But you want to clean the but you don't have to go as crazy with the paint correction.
Would it be, and this is maybe a dumbed down, kind of simplistic analogy, but would it be safe to say it's somewhat like one of those stick-on protectors for your cell phone? Something similar?
I think those are more rigid. I mean, it could be
more flexible, more.
I don't know exactly what material those are made out of. It's kind of the same idea. It's going to stop high impact damage.
Okay. Yeah.
Someone smacked your phone. Like I have a glass one on mine. which is cracked.
Yeah, I have a stick-on one on mine,
Yeah.
which came from a factory.
So
It's
they
all scratched
probably
up
bend to
already.
some extent, but, you know, it's kind of the same idea. So on a car, yeah, to be flexible and stretchy and puncture-proof and actually self-healing, our PPF self-heals, it really is the only thing that stops. So the reason the price is what it is, it's because it's stretching, it's pulling, it's fitting, it's squeegeeing, and then it's heat sealing the edges. So it really, and honestly, if it wasn't for the cost of the material, it'd be about half the cost, you know what I mean?
And so it'd still be expensive either way, just the amount
Right,
of
so
labor involved.
you can PPF the front clip of your car for about the same as you could coat your whole entire car. That material, you know, the roll of it over there was $1,500.
Now, why would I go with PPF versus a ceramic coating? Like, I mean, like if I came in here with a you know, a '98 Honda Del Sol, you know, and I wanted PPF, you know, which you know,
If the software has the pre-cut,
has a pre-cut.
yeah, I mean.
No,
pre-cut's
but I
the way to
mean,
go,
you kind of understand what I'm getting at. It's like, you know, what
it's not worth it.
it's not worth it for something like that. You know,
Yeah,
somebody like
this
that.
is, PPF is, I'm not gonna say it's limited to certain customers, but you really have to not want stone chips on your bumper and your hood. You're gonna be driving 100 miles a day, you've got a car that you really wanna last for a long time, so somebody might say, and I always say this before anybody has a chance to ask it, well, if it costs $500 to do my bumper, why don't I just let it get stone chipped up and repaint it for a little bit less than that? Well, okay, let's follow that scenario for a minute. It's about $350, $400 to have your bumper painted. It's about $500 to PPF your bumper. So at what point, it doesn't take very long. Within a year or two, your front end is going to be visibly chipped and chunked up. So at what point do you say, okay, I'm ready to repaint it? So let's say 2 years go by and you say, okay, I can't stand it anymore, I gotta repaint this thing. You've now taken off your factory paint, which is far superior to any other paint job you're gonna have. It just is. So you're putting a inferior paint on, and then 2 years later, you're gonna be back in the same situation where it's chipped up again. So now, you're gonna, oh, it's 2 years, I can't take it anymore. So now you've spent $800, and you've repainted it.
When you could have just
And you could have spent $500 and just left it alone, and you're good for as long as you own the car. I don't care how long you own it, that PPF is going to do its job and look good doing it. So it's just like that mouse hole scenario, letting the mice in. Instead of fixing the hole, you're putting traps up. So the PPF it's just because of the skill involved and the cost of the material. That's why repainting a car costs so much.
right.
It's all the work you have to do to get there. It takes a lot of skill and expensive equipment.
But I mean, I have from the factory just PPF right, you know, where the fenders flare out on my truck.
Yeah.
To catch rocks and stone chips.
That
and
stuff
things like
has
that.
about a 5 to 10 year life, and it really looks bad.
We'll talk about it when it
Yeah.
starts looking bad. But
Yeah.
you know, but yeah, it seems like it's for people that really either love their car or they want to get the max value out of it later.
You drive it a lot, or you're going to keep it a lot. So, you know, in Hanover, there's a lot of commuters, so there is a market for it. But there's a lot of people that don't leave town. They just, I don't know where they get their money from, but they just don't drive anywhere. Then maybe they're older, or maybe they're 40s or 50s. They just don't go anywhere, or their car never leaves the garage. I mean, I had a guy who has a Hellcat Red Eye. He talked about PPF, but it never leaves the garage and a coating. So chances are he either found somebody cheaper, or because I never saw him again, or $1,500 for a coating wasn't worth it to him because it never leaves the garage. Personally, I mean, my dream car is a Hellcat Red Eye. I'd be driving it. It's not going to be a garage.
Right.
I mean, I'm going to drive it, and I'm going to coat it. I'm going to so what's the point of something cool
If you never show it to
and it's
anybody.
never clean and you never see it, it's never out? I'm not necessarily going to drive it 100 miles a day, but I would be driving it. You know, it'd be my daily
Yeah.
driver.
And, you know, there, like you said, there are people in this area. When I bought my truck, it was from a local guy.
Mhm.
It was 4 years old and I bought it, had 25,000 miles on it.
Yeah.
It never went anywhere,
Yeah.
you know? And,
And yours doesn't really, I mean, you got no paint on your front end.
right, yeah, it's all chrome.
It's all chrome, which we coated, so, yeah, you know, Tesla Model 3s, we probably PPF more of them than any.
All the stone chips I get are all on the window. That's where all my stone
Yeah,
chips come.
and you got a very vertical windshield,
Yeah.
so.
So now, will PPF, you can't PPF glass, right? Or
There is a company that can put windscreens on, but even they only last about a year.
Okay.
So windshields take that much of abuse, even a PPF for, it's not called that, but a film for glass is very temporary.
Okay.
Because it's just, the windshield just takes so much abuse.
Right.
And just that wind pressure and everything in the wind, and then you're abrading it
Right.
with the wipers.
Right. Now, what are some, I mean, some people are, I don't want, you know, to PPF my car, but you know what, my headlights look like crap.
Mhm.
You know, I saw you do that, do PPF on headlights. What's the advantages of that?
That's kind of a new thing I started, because I was like, I mean, I don't have the lens coating, because I use PPF. So people started getting headlight restorations, and I thought, man, I got PPF, I'm just going to put PPF on it. You know, for what we charge, because we sand the headlights and we polish them, and I want to keep them. I want these things that when this car is sitting in the junkyard, these headlights are going to look brand new. To me, that's, when I lay in bed and fall asleep.
That's what you dream about?
I don't dream about it, but it gives me
a junkyard full of cars
me a-
with pristine headlights.
I mean, how awesome would that be? Like, someone rolls up to the, what's with these headlights? Why do they look so good? Well, let me tell you who did, you know. It's just a funny thought. Speaking of what Andy Kaufman, remember from Taxi, he's got a weird sense of humor, but it kind of was funny. He did this TV special, and somehow he was at the TV station. Of course, they had live shows back then, and everybody, you know, there's no TiVo, so you couldn't, everybody had to watch it. So at some point during the show, the station had him make it go snowy. And he thought that was so funny because everybody would get up and start adjusting their TV and trying to fix it because it's going snowy, bang, bang, bang. So the thought of that happening was the funniest thing to him. It was funnier than the dialogue or whatever the show. Anyway, that's just from the headlights.
No, that's.
He's got a weird sense of humor, but...
Well, Monty Python had something similar where they wanted the BBC to like bring the volume down on the show, you know, so like everybody would have to like get up and turn it up, and then at some point they just make a real loud noise. But BBC never went for it. Yeah, that is, it's a different type of sense of humor. But we digress.
Yes.
So, but
oh yeah, the headlight. Yeah, so.
Yeah, we're back to the headlights now.
What are we talking about? So yeah, PPF on the headlights. I mean, I like lens coating, and I'm definitely going to offer that. But the PPF is going to, stop the sun, and that's what happens. The sun is what makes headlights foggy yellow. Plus, I had a customer, they were the yellowish, brownish.
They were nasty.
And I could tell somebody had, so anytime you sand and polish them, you knock off whatever UV coating is left from the factory. So I said, hey, $100 is what we charge to do headlight. Oh no, I'll do it myself. They just fade again anyway. And I said, not if I do them. That's all right. Seriously, unless you don't drive at night, it's just, the PPF just makes sense because if I can make these headlights never fade again, I'm going to do it. I mean, that's a pretty cool idea. Just like if a doctor could cure some form of cancer, wouldn't he get joy out of the fact that he could? I mean, like, well, no, he don't want to pay for that, so I'll just give him the temporary fix, and he'll come back in 6 years and have it again. I mean, it just makes sense to stop. It's a solution. So PPF is going to prevent the fading. It's also going to withstand impact from whatever, because headlights get chipped up quite a bit. What is that stuff? Polycarbonate is a whole lot softer than it used to be. And then if you got those headlights that kind of draw back and point, the tops of them point up, like our Pilot's like that. They peel back a little bit so the sun just wreaks havoc on them. They need something on them to protect them.
And it's a safety thing too. I mean, if your headlights, if you can't see the bulbs,
Mhm.
you know, chances are you probably don't want to be driving anything at
Yeah.
night.
And, you know, in Pennsylvania, that'll fail inspection. Most techs don't fail it. They let it go and maybe try to, oh, we can do it, and they're buffing on them, and they're just gonna fade again in 6 months, and you just spend $150 at the dealer, and they're gonna fade again. So, I mean, headlights are, I know some Acura headlights are $600, $700, $800 a piece. Pilot headlights are probably $200 or $300 a piece.
I don't even want to know what mine are because
Yours are, you know, if you get these new LED
my mirror was
ones-
$900. So
Yeah, if you get like these LED or LED,
Yeah.
HID, I mean, they're gonna be super expensive. It's not necessarily the bulb, it's that whole reflector projection.
But that's the
Yeah.
thing, you know, it's not like, you know, cars when we were growing up where you could get a headlight cover, you could get, you know, now everything is, they're like self-contained units, and to get one thing, you
Yeah.
have to get, like the whole thing, I had to replace the mirror. It wasn't, the mirror wasn't broken, it was the cover that was
Right.
broken. They're like, nope, gotta buy the whole thing.
Yep.
You know, so and that's kind of what cars have gone through. It's all these little
Yeah.
compact individual units that make up a car. So,
Yeah.
anyway, we're digressing off of PPF, but we'll edit all this out, so you don't have to worry about that. Go for a 20-minute video. But yeah, so anything else you want to add about PPF?
No. I mean, I don't recommend, if someone's gonna get PPF, I say go ahead and coat the whole car too. You know, why do you want to just protect with high impact material, only part of it? You need to coat the whole thing, so, and the PPF can be coated, right? I coat the PPF. It's another reason it's
Kind
that
of
price
that
too.
price. Oh, okay.
It's
So,
already kind of,
so that's included
it
in
is,
okay.
yeah. I mean,
Not,
PPF
not
is,
every detailer does that, just so
that's
you know.
true. PPF is hydrophobic, and you make it more hydrophobic. So why not? If you can protect it the best of your ability, why not offer that as a, you know, I'm not gonna be afraid that someone doesn't want to pay. If they don't want to pay, they don't want to pay. But if I can offer the best, why not? It makes sense. There's so many shops around that don't want to give people their best because they're afraid that they're not gonna pay the price. Well, then go find another line. I mean,
Or they charge astronomical amounts for substandard stuff.
to get some cars in here and I want my car clean, and in order for me to do it, I'm gonna spend 6 hours, only charge $100.
Yeah.
I can't do that. I have standards, and I'm not gonna work for free. So PPF and headlights and that sort of protection, if you want the best, if you're willing to pay for it, you're gonna get it. And I'm gonna take the time to do it.
Like most things in life, you get what you pay for. So, and that is true in the auto detailing industry.
Especially in the service industry.
Yeah. If it's cheap and it promises you the moon, you know, might want to think twice.
Yeah.
So,
How much does a moon cost?
I have no idea. But I hear you can buy land on it though. Somebody was selling it, yeah. Anyway, make sure you like and subscribe this video if you enjoyed it. Give us a thumbs up, write a comment down below, and hit the subscribe button, and we'll see you later.
See ya.